has been going to that Nova, and he likes it.
Yeah, it's just fly straight for him. Why not? It's signed by himself, I guess.
The part everybody's been waiting for. Derek Jones in the bag. I'm going to start with my putting putters. I putt with D-line P2s. Anything inside circle, circle 1, circle 2, even jump putts. I don't throw these. They hold a straight line, but if I need to hyzer around a tree, they hold it. They don't do anything funny, so P2s. Another D-line P2. This one's strictly for throwing. Throw it with a little bit of hyzer, flips the flat, hit it harder. It'll flip the flat in turn. It's more of a utility. Kind of flies like a Nova for me. Super beat in. Highly recommend D-line P2 for a thrower. Color Glow Rat. This run is super overstable. I can throw this thing pretty much as hard as I want, and it will never flip over. If I hit it flat, it'll move to the left for me, but it'll always come out. Super overstable. Touch sidearms around the greens. Yeah, very overstable run. Ricky's Pro Pig. Super overstable. I had a hard time with sidearming putters. So this definitely filled that slot. Backhand hyzers, but mainly if I'm throwing a pig, it is typically for sidearms, pitching up around greens. Super overstable. I like them. And last but not least, putters. The Innova brand new Croc. Really overstable. I can throw this thing as pretty much as hard as I want and pretend it's a destroyer. This thing is not going anywhere. Whatever line it comes out of my hand, it holds. I can throw this thing on Annie and it wants to come out of it and hit that ground. Super overstable. This disc definitely kicked out the zone out of my bag. On to my mid-ranges. So I bag 2 MD3s. Start with the least understable one. Color Glow MD3. This one's kind of seasoned, so I can hit this with hyzer, flips the flat, hit it flat, it'll turn over. I tend to go to MD3s more than I will a Rock 3, simply because of the beat. I find it a little bit too deep for my hand, so MD3 fits into it perfectly. And a C-Line European Open MD3. This one's definitely a little bit more stable than the Color Glow. So I can hit this with a little bit of hyzer, flip the flat, but it's always hyzering out at the end, which is what I want. Something about this run, I'm not entirely sure what run this is, but Discmania nailed it. Love this run. And the new addition to my bag is the Stiff P-Line MD4. I used to throw a lot of McPro Rock 3s. Love the feel of my hand. And this actually feels identical to it. So these will flip the flat. Definitely great in the woods. Only because I keep breaking McPro Rock 3s and they get expensive. So that definitely filled that slot. On to my fairways. We have an S-Line FD. This gets cycled in my bag with a Luster Leopard 3. It's almost the same disc. My Leopard's getting a little bit too understable, where this still has a little bit of finish at the end. I throw Majority of this in the woods or tight tunnel shots. Great disc, great beginner disc too, so grab one if you haven't. Okay, first one, Metal Flake T-Bird. This is actually probably my oldest disc in my bag. This is pretty much a hyzer flip disc. It won't turn over unless I hit it flat, but it's definitely my more stable T-Bird. Something about Metal Flake, it doesn't beat, I don't know, for me, it doesn't beat in super quick like most. But yeah, that's probably my oldest disc in my bag. And probably one of my favorite discs, Metal Flake T-Bird 3. These out of the box are straight. Hit it with hyzer, flip the flat. They hold that line. I don't know. I think it's because they might be a little bit flatter, which is why they fit into my hand nice. But I love Metal Flake T-Bird 3s. 2 Sexton Firebirds. I had the 2018 in my bag. It's more seasoned, so I can actually hyzer flip them with my sidearm being a little bit weaker than my backhand. But I think I got away from that near the end of the year because it was just any sort of wind, it was actually flipping over, which is what I didn't want. So 2017 is definitely got some finish to it still. So that's back in my bag. And the most overstable Sexton Firebird, in my opinion, is the 19s. You can throw these things on any, and they fight out of it pretty quickly. Backhand flat shots, always hyzer. You can throw these into a headwind, and they don't go anywhere other than right for me, being left-handed. Two swirly Big Germ Thunderbirds. This is last year's, is it 2018's? For me, these are the most overstable runs. I don't know why, but this is more for long penetrating hyzers. These just, whatever line I need, it'll actually hold it. Super overstable, but it works. And Big Germ's this year's Thunderbird. This is probably my favorite run of the Thunderbird. I can throw this with hyzer. It'll actually flip, but come back out. But it still gets that pushing distance that I need. So I actually threw this on hole 12 at Foxwood.
I think he's going to go wide hyzer. Let's see. Firebird?
Which went OB. On to probably one of the most favorite molds in my bag. A first run S-Line Freak Stamped PD. Don't know how I got onto PDs. It's just a little... I get more distance out of a PD than I do a Thunderbird. Not by much, but I can control them a lot easier. So this one will actually flip the flat and actually turn for me. It doesn't necessarily hyzer out. It's definitely great in the woods where I need to shape a shot. Avery Color Glow PD. These actually aren't as overstable as I would have liked them to be, but they still have some finish to them. So I can hit it with very minimal hyzer. It'll flip up, but it always comes out. So I like them. They're super flat, but they aren't as overstable as what I was looking for. And on to the Metal Flake PD. This is the most overstable PD I've thrown. Very stiff. And from what I hear, they're like a first run PD. Don't know. But they are super overstable for me. I like them. Big hyzer shots. I can actually sidearm them. And yeah, I have 3 of those in my bag. I love PDs. And on to distance drivers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 destroyers in my bag. So going through the wear. Start with the most understable. Avery Jenkins 2-line destroyer. This thing is very much beat in. Like, there's almost no life left in this. So I can throw this thing almost completely 90 degrees. This thing will flip and still turn over. I throw it for big sky in, hyzer shots, rollers, touch forehands that need to flip up. Super understable, but it's got a spot. 4-time Paul Macbeth destroyer. Shout out Thomas Gilbert. Thank you. This one actually, right out of the box, would flip the flat. And if I gave it less hyzer, get a little bit of turn out of it, but it does come out super overstable for 168. So it definitely does finish. On to bottom stamped SDS destroyer, Ugly Maryland. This thing has been beaten to hell, but it's still overstable. So if I need any distance out of this destroyer, I have to throw it flat for it to finish. Don't know why this thing will not beat into where I need it to be in, but she's back in the bag. Another Thomas shout out. Bottom stamp destroyer. This thing is probably my go-to. Hyzer flip. If I typically throw a sidearm with a destroyer, it will be this. I can get it to flip up to flat. Always finishes. Definitely my go-to. Mini stamped destroyer. I have a couple of these that aren't what this is and exactly what I'm looking for. So something that I can try to throw my arm right out of my socket and it will not flip. So whatever angle it comes out of my hand, that's what it holds. I can throw this with very minimal hyzer into a headwind and it'll flip the flat. It doesn't actually turn. So this run came out exactly what I was looking for in this destroyer. Don't know why, but that mini stamp is very clean. And on to my beefcake. Brinster Splatter Destroyer. Super overstable out of the box. This thing's been in and out of my bag. Simply because I have a bad round and take it out. So I blame the disc. But it's back in my bag. I need it for headwind shots that I know it's not going to flip. This one, it's almost the big brother to this, where I can actually throw this Brinster further pushing forward than I can with this mini stamp. It's kind of backwards, but they complement each other very well. The DD3 Cloudbreaker. These things bomb. I only have one in my bag. I lost one, so now I only keep it to one. These things bomb. For some reason, I find these very overstable. So any distance I have to hit this flat, I can hit this with a little bit of anhyzer and I will get a full flex out of it. And probably one of my furthest flying discs in my bag. And my baby, Sea Line Glow PD2 Harley. I throw this off the tee on 12 at Foxwood. This thing is exactly where I need it to be, where I can throw this thing on hyzer. It'll flip and turn with a gentle finish. This thing's been in my bag pretty much since they released them. This is another sidearm disc that I go to. I will typically go to this over that yellow destroyer just because I get the distance out of it. Not as overstable as an S-line. I find S-lines very overstable, so I don't get the distance that I need. But these are less stable, which kind of suit my arm speed a little bit better than an S-line S-line PD2 or a C-line PD2. Yeah. So if you see Harley, it's a PD2. And that's everything in my bag. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And as you know, it is a pound Optothorpe's. It's a custom made, which is why some of you guys couldn't figure out where the colors came from. So, purple and green, Joker. Thanks, guys. Here's a little something that I cooked up for True North Disc Golf. Can you do that from further?